Hello and welcome to this episode of Community Connections, airing right here on OROMIA11. I am your host, Anna Orr, and today we are talking about the Rondo-Frogtown area of St. Paul, Minnesota. I have the Community Services Coordinator from the Rondo-Frogtown St. Paul Public Library, Callie Freeman, joining me. She's talking about a new initiative they just launched 5 weeks ago, the Rondo-Frogtown Loop. It is a circulating van that is taking scholars across Ward 1 in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is going to be a wonderful episode you won't want to miss. Welcome to the program, Callie Freeman. You are the Community Services Coordinator for the Rondo-Frogtown Loop.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this program today.
Now, we are so excited to have you here with us so that we can inform our viewers about the amazing things that are taking place with St. Paul Park and Rec, as well as the St. Paul Public Library. Now, we're talking today about the Loop, but let me know where the idea for this even came from.
Well, it was a kind of a two-parter. So, first thing, there was an opportunity from the Minnesota Department of Education was offering an after-school community learning grant. And the overall goal of that grant is to increase access to quality after-school and summer programming, particularly those that are culturally affirming and or focus on the academic, social, emotional lives of young people, school-age young people. So that's part one. There was an opportunity for something. Part two is we talk with our community a lot. We do a lot of community engagement, surveys, listening sessions, and also just being public servants and public facing, we talk with families. And we knew that one of the biggest barriers that families had identified for young people participating in after-school activities was a lack of transportation opportunities. Now, public transportation exists, there's more bike lanes. The Rondo and Frogtown neighborhood, though, have got I-94, which went through the Rondo neighborhood in the 60s. Also, like University Avenue, very busy. So a lot of parents didn't feel necessarily that their kids were safe to go from one site to another, even if they were located nearby. The west side, many years ago, the west side of St. Paul many years ago had a transportation option called the Circulator, which brought kids around. And we thought, you know what we can do with this? One really easy way to increase access is to provide transportation so young people can get between rec centers and Rondo Community Library and other community partners.
This is so important because I know a lot of people who put their children in lifts after school to make it to after school programming, to make it to practices, to make it to a caregiver's home. And they're always so anxious watching that map in the car as they're trusting someone else with one of their most precious gifts, their kids. And so hearing that you guys are actively trying to cut out the middleman, giving them an opportunity to stay with other scholars, and then going to see St. Paul's landscape is really beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
How long has the Circulator been launched this far?
So the van really launched about 5 weeks ago. It's still very new, and I'm really glad to have this opportunity to talk about it because we need to get the word out there and because we need more folks riding.
I think that's very important. What has the community response been over the last 5 weeks?
I would say over the last 5 weeks, it has been a lot of, it's two schools. One, those that have been in St. Paul for a while that remember the Circulator in the West Side are like, oh, I remember that from when I was a teen or a tween, and have really great memories of utilizing that service. Or this is exactly what we've been asking for. So much excitement, lots of interest in how we can just get our kids from one place to another. Also, many people looking at how can we replicate this in our neighborhoods as well.
I'm excited to see if something like this is going to take place in Minneapolis, because I think there are so many exciting places that we don't always get to explore outside of field trips if you grow up here in Minneapolis or in St. Paul. And then as you start to get a little older, you stop sometimes remembering the magic all of those places hold.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm really excited about, so this is a partnership with the Ward 1 Parks and Rec and Library. So the library in Ward 1 is Rondo Community Library. And then there's the Jimmy Lee Oxford Rec Center, West Minnehaha Rec Center, MLK Rec Center, and Frogtown Community Center. And one of the exciting things about this is I want our kiddos to identify that they're not only a rec kid or a library kid. There are some kids that kind of really identify as that, and not just at Rondo Library or at Jimmy Lee, but that this whole neighborhood has opportunities and staff that care about them, and we got them. You know, we've got them in this neighborhood, and we really want them to see the neighborhood as theirs.
Now let's talk about how this whole process works. Parents are able to sign up either online, printing off the form, or they're able to go to any one of those locations you just mentioned.
Correct.
To get a hard copy or to do it online, set the schedule for their kid.
So the way it works is actually really similar to a bus schedule. So we have, the schedule is, the van runs Monday through Thursday, from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m.
Okay.
And it goes on a continuous loop to all of the different sites. So on the hour, it's at West Minnehaha. The hour and 10, so like 3:10, 4:10, it's at Jimmy Lee. And we also have a collective calendar of all of the activities, free, and this is the important part. These are the free activities that are available to youth. So all of the activities and programs that are happening at any given time, families can look at the schedule and say, okay, you get out of school at 3, you can hop onto the loop van at 3:10 and it will get you to Frogtown so you can do cooking with Miss O at that time. And then we'll pick you up and bring you right back to where you started.
That's so wonderful for people to even be able to set their schedules, parents trying to set their work schedules and not have to worry about where their scholar is in the city.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think that's very important. How did you all decide on the location to be in the Rondo-Frogtown neighborhood? I know that you talked about the partnership with Ward 1.
So a lot of the city departments, Parks and Rec is huge. It's got 26 locations, and the library has 13 branches in the bookmobile. So we are serving all different corners of the city, right? And part of what we do as city departments is we meet with other folks that are in our neighborhoods once a month to just talk about what's going on, talk about how the kids are doing, what kind of resources are needed. Do folks have ideas about this, that, or the other, and like what programs are happening? And in Ward 1, with these 4 recs and the library, we were meeting, and this grant opportunity came up. And I particularly remember that on the day that we kind of got together to talk about this idea, Lee Ban, who's the community Rex supervisor at West Minnehaha, was talking about how his families were really asking his staff to provide more homework help. And West Minnehaha is maybe a 10 to 12 minute walk from Rondo Community Library. I was the manager at Rondo at the time, and Rondo Library has, and many libraries in St. Paul have a great homework center program, 4 days a week, 3 hours a day. And so—
Hold on 1 second. That's really important for people to pay attention to.
Yes.
4 days a week, they can get assistance.
Yes.
For their scholars with homework.
For their scholars and for themselves. One cool thing about St. Paul Public Library is it's not just K through 12. We support adult learners as well. So if you've gone back to school, if you need some help on a paper or getting through a lab, we've got volunteers there to help folks.
That's really important.
But so we had that thing. that these parents were asking for. How, instead of having to reinvent the wheel every time to duplicate programs, how can we lift up the programs that we already have to serve other youth and make space for the variety of other things that can happen at West Mini if Rondo Library has got the homework center covered?
I think that's really important. Now, you talked about the partnership with Ward 1, Parks and Rec, as well as you all with the St. Paul Public Library. What has this partnership meant to you guys in this program?
I think it's been really wonderful. You know, I'm discovering all the time working in this, just number one, our resources are so much better if we are working together. When I was at Rondo, one of the things that my staff and I and families would lament all the time is, oh, there's no space to run around, right? And after school, you got the wigglies and you're not quite ready to focus in on homework or a project. And we'd always think, man, we just need that space. We don't have it on the corner of Dale and University. With Parks and their amazing spaces and their incredible youth workers, we all have got such care for our young people. And so, number one, seeing that care go not across just from site to site, but across this whole neighborhood, and being able to really amplify the services that we have as families, not site by site, but as a group, has been really, really exciting. And we're getting to know each other. You know, Parks and Rec and libraries have different cultures, and I think we're all, it's exciting to have other opportunities, you know, outside of kind of the norm of any one of the departments.
You mentioned earlier that you all are looking for more partners to join you all for locations for the circulator to stop different organizations in the area, correct?
What we're really looking for, because this is a grant-funded project, our budget's a little limited, so we've been able to hire 2 community youth workers that drive the van. We've been able to secure a 15-person van, and right now we're really just trying to work out this particular loop. We've also been able to work with Black Youth Healing Arts Center, which is an incredible programming space that is run by the Irreducible Grace Foundation. And that has allowed us to open up more arts programming, particularly focused on healing and the arts through the lens of the African diaspora. As I said earlier, one of the other goals of this grant is to increase access to culturally affirming programs, and their work has been incredible. We're also looking for more folks to come into our space, so the Network for the Development of Children of African Descent, which has their Sankofa reading program, and that program also very much based in the African diaspora, has had incredible, they've done many studies, incredible outcomes for young people who participate in that reading program. And we've been able to offer that 4 times a year at MLK Rec Center and at Rondo Community Library, and we look forward to continuing that partnership as we go. So we are looking for more organizations who want to co-create programming. It could just be a one-off. It could be a family night where we bring in families. My grant will get the food, and we will provide a space, and let's engage and have families learn about your organization and some of the things that you do. So there's that opportunity, as well as contracting for some programs.
I think that's important to note that you guys are still willing to bring other people on board in the community to help expand the purpose of this amazing event.
Absolutely.
Now, you all also are having family nights, which you mentioned.
Yes.
What has been your favorite family night thus far?
You know, I'll tell you, we've only had one thus far, and here's the thing that was especially cool about it. The City of St. Paul has the St. Paul Youth Commission, which is a program that really allows young people who are high school age to get into a leadership role and work on an impact project. Some of the commissioners chose the Rondo-Frogtown Loop Family Night to be their project. And so over this past year, we've been meeting every other week, and they've been kind of planning, how do we want to engage? What are families asking for? And what do we want to do? So last week, their project came to an end when they had the very first family night. And so it was all, the program and everything else, it was all run by teens, teen created, teen led, and it was so much fun. Also, one of my favorite things was ahead of time, the youth commissioners were nervous, but man, they were the most charming, like professional when they got on that mic. They were incredible. And so I think that that's really the model we want to use going forward, is how do we work with different organizations to create kind of different sorts of nights that really meet, where families can get together, hang out with other kids, hang out with other parents and caretakers, learn something new as a family, do something fun as a family, and learn about a resource or something that might be of interest or that's really needed by them.
I think this sounds like a wonderful way to foster community and start to help kids that may struggle with socializing. Get to know their neighbors. You might see someone on the bus stop, you might see someone passing as you're walking to school or whatever you're doing, but you may not know them or have a connection with them. And this sounds like a really low pressure way to kind of hang out, spend some time together, let your parents kind of see each other, get familiar so that they can start to build a rapport and maybe help expand their kids' social experience.
100%. I think that's another one of the benefits too of the fact that we don't have, the folks that are driving our kids around are two community youth workers, Ben and Cow. Shout out to Ben and Cow, they're amazing. And the reason why we have two people in the van is so one can focus on driving, but the other person can then engage with whoever is riding. Hey, what are you doing today? Oh, you like painting? Did you know about this other program that exists at this site? And also just kind of introducing kids to each other. So you're not just sitting there like silently, like, happens on the bus sometimes or, so it's really cool.
You spoke about you all acquiring a 15-passenger van.
Yes.
I want to ask, is the van ADA accessible?
So this particular van is not. However, we are renting a van. So if the need comes up, we will absolutely move things around and rent a different kind of van in order to make sure that access is there for everyone.
I think that is so important. I had a few people when I was talking about doing this episode coming up, and they were saying, is it handicap accessible? Because I would love to be able to tell some other people in the surrounding areas that this exists so that they can start participating in the event. So I'm excited to be able to tell them, stay tuned. They are taking care of it and they will be willing to make it a real thing.
Like, we want to work with families too. I mean, there's some things like we're not going to be able to drop kids off at their house. We're not going to, like we have a set sort of thing. But the whole goal of this grant is increasing access and making connections, right? And we're not going to we will work with families to try to make things as easy as possible for them.
And then my secondary question, because we know that Rondo and Frogtown have such a diverse population.
Yes.
Are the materials you guys are disseminating, are they linguistically sound?
Right now, we only have English available.
Okay.
That's not the plan. That's not the final plan. We are really at the very beginning of getting stuff off of the ground. So another aspect of this for them and their family. And having worked for St. Paul Public Library for the last 10 years, creating different these resources with meeting the different language needs of the community we're serving is 100% on the plan. So just little bit longer.
I'm excited. 5 weeks is a very short amount of time.
It
so
is.
It sounds like you guys are making an impact on your community and hopefully inspiring other wards and some other civic leadership to get involved and maybe start expanding this program for their areas.
It would be so cool. This grant runs through May of 2027, so this is the plan. Family nights, engaging with community organizations and the van. And because it's a grant, we're going to be collecting a lot of data. I mean, it's part of the grant process, but it's also going to really let us know, how is this working? What would we need to recreate this? And hopefully it'll be something that can get, copy paste. Let's do it elsewhere. So.
Now, for someone who is watching this and they're wondering what is the age requirement for their scholar to be able to participate in the loop?
Sure. So, first off, programs are at all of these sites that are from birth through adult, right? Mm-hmm. There are programs there for everybody. For being able to use the loop van, the age is 10 through 18, 10 through like graduation from high school. So, so that is the age range we're looking at.
I think that's important to have those groups of kids. 10 is such a pivotal age, and 18 is such a pivotal age.
Truly.
And I think it's really starting to help them kind of socialize, one with each other, but also giving future adults a chance to experience what it looks like engaging with younger people in their communities.
Absolutely.
And maybe hopefully they'll start coming back to the park, to the library, and working or volunteering so that they can start serving some of these people that they've already started to make connections with in their community.
Absolutely. Oh, that's the dream right there.
How do we support the work that you all are doing going forward? What does it look like if we don't have a scholar between the ages of 10 and 18? But we're excited about this.
Yes. Do you know someone with a scholar between the ages of 10 to 18? Because what we would really love is just to share this information. We are working currently on getting an electronic form so families don't need to print out a PDF of the permission slip. Take a look online at our website, stpaul.gov/the-loop, LOOP. And you can take a look at the times that we do pick up and drop off at all the sites, all of the different programs that are happening on any given afternoon, and also get information about registering, and hopefully that registration form will be online shortly too, so you don't have to print stuff out.
That's wonderful. Lastly, Kelly, I just want you to look directly into this camera.
Into this one?
Yes, please.
All right.
And invite people to come out and participate with what you guys have going on, not only with the Loop Van, but also with the family nights and getting more invested in their communities with parks and the public library.
My name is Callie Freeman, and I manage the Rondo-Frogtown Loop. The Rondo-Frogtown Loop van has hit the road, and we are ready to take riders between 4 rec centers, the library, Black Youth Healing Arts Center, and support families in great after-school and summer programming. You can get more information and sign up to ride the Loop van on stpaul.gov/the-loop.
Thank you, Callie Freeman, for joining me and for sharing with our viewers this amazing initiative that you guys have going on in St. Paul.
Thank you so much.
It is my hope that one of you reaches out to someone in your network and/or community and shares this valuable information. They are offering really amazing programming as well as safe transportation right in your backyard. This is an opportunity that we want to grab a hold of and share with people near and far so that it continues on beyond 2027. As always, I am Anna Orr. This has been Community Connections, airing on OROMIA11. I look forward to connecting again with you soon.